Hey, what's up, everybody? Happy Monday, and it's great to be back. It's your favorite host here, Titus Karaoke, your favorite mode of Nesby, and also your R2 professional, what's it? Communications chair, so the guy doing social media and stuff, and now this talk. And this episode, I got somebody who's got some great camaraderie to himself, great leadership, all that. I'll let him introduce himself. So, want to take it from here?
Much Titus. So I want to start by saying I'm just genuinely very enthused to be here and just giving it a really good option for us to not only extend our platform as an organization, but also the mission of the company and how that's resonated with me. So I'm very excited to be on the podcast tonight. Our dedication for our chapter is really to continue to make this empowering and building those empowering platforms and part of these engagements. So that's always inspired me, and that's what inspired me to be here tonight. So I could just introduce myself very quickly. My name is Nicolas Pollard. I'm a current mechanical engineering and information logistics technology double major attending Virginia State University. I'm very excited, just to be able to, talk more about not only my journey in engineering, but also my journey through NSBE. So thank you so much.
Hey, do mention it. And one thing I mentioned in the intro is I like how vigorous you guys are in SBVSU because you had a good presence at FRC last year. That's one. And also, I know you're hella active on social media, especially Instagram. And, shout out to you guys. You got Janine and the founders in doing your thing, all that. Actually, want to talk about that real quick?
Sure. So, of course, we're very active. Our organization has been the most active it's been in literally years, since as far back as I can remember. Since coming to Virginia State in 2022, our NSBE chapter has always been very active, but just being able to take the organization into a new direction really just focuses on our impact and really emphasizes that more than just saying, "Hey, we're here," but no, we're here. So it's kind of like just being able to introduce that concept of more visibility for NSBE chapters. It really helps to not only make people feel special, but make them feel seen. And a lot of the times that are going on now, a lot of people may not feel heard and seen. So us as an organization, we're definitely focused on visibility, that awareness, and that engagement at all fronts for the organization. And of course, how could we talk about VSU NSBE when we just recently had our CEO, the wonderful, beautiful Dr. Janine Uzel. I mean, that was one of our all-time moments for the organization. Top one so far. I don't know if we're going to top it, but we have that marker now because just having her presence, right, is monumental enough to be able to raise that visibility and awareness for all of our neighboring chapters, brother and sister chapters in Region 2 and beyond. So it really helped open up a plethora of new opportunities. And from that, we actually were able to get a lot more opportunities that came in the form of not only this podcast, so thank you again, Titus, but also the opportunity to compete in the academic retention contest, which we just recently won. That now we'll have the opportunity to develop a program that helps developing our memberships retention through maybe some harder courses, but also get an opportunity to showcase their technical development as well as their research acumen. So a lot of good things that have come from that and that are continuing to come. And that was just the beginning. That was our very first event of the year, the very first general body meeting, and it's going to be a lot more first for VSU NSBE in 2020.
Hey, you know what? Keep up a good job with that. I
Thank
mean,
you.
getting Janine, getting the founders in, that's a salute to that. In fact, as a way for me to keep myself accountable, I'm working on the FRC recap from last year, and
Yes.
it's compiled a bunch of videos here. And there is a moment that stood out in my whole video recording of the whole conference. You remember, guy with a sticky, what you call it, selfie stick, something like that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
there we go. And so I got some of you guys. I think you might know them. Like I got my phone here, looking at the video, and I can just tell you're not just a vibe online. You're also a vibe in person, which makes
Yes.
sense why you got that whole camaraderie. Like I'll just play it right now. You might probably know these guys.
Yes. Yep.
And so this is how it looks like. One sec. All right.
BSC the best chapter, big stage. Stay.
Oh, I did not know that video was made. Until
I think it's powerful. In fact, I'm gonna send it up to you guys, and you can do it whatever you want. But you deserve it, you know.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I mean, FRC was a time. It really was, and us just going back to Philly. I mean, it just brought a lot of memories for me, and a lot of new opportunities. Winning 4 of the competitions there, and now heading to nationals now, for 5 competitions. We want to take all the gold at NSBE Gold, and with meeting the founders, that just added another layer of legacy and impact onto our organization, and just being able to grow and expand beyond our hill and the gates of our hill, because we know our members, not only are they our top priority, especially in our organization, but just being able to advance the entire organization moving forward. So everything, all of that connected the dots to the experiences that all of our members want to have and the qualities that they have to show. So I mean, it's really just a really beautiful transition for all of the professional aspirations for our membership.
And like I always say, the best happens from here. Like the best is yet to come, and that's BVSC, you're straight up for the moon if this year is anything to go by,
Yes.
So Nick, kind of curious, since you mentioned that you're a senior, and
Yes.
I probably forgot that part, but what's your major again?
Mechanical engineering and information logistics technology.
Gotcha. Is it a double major?
It is a double major, yes.
Gotcha. Double major, my rock. So since you're graduating soon, what's something, or rather, how do you envision life as an NSBE professional once you cross the bridge?
As a NSBE professional, I want to definitely make sure I have an emphasis on mentoring younger technologists and engineers, particularly the mechanical engineering, tech, and information logistics, and being able to advocate for that representation as well as opportunity in STEM. As of that, when I first came into NSBE, I had a great mentor. His name is Davion. I'll never forget him to this day. When this podcast going, I actually sent him that. I wanted him to know that even when I was a freshman until now as a senior, I'm going to always still shout him out and say his name. But that mentorship was key, and just making me not only comfortable in my position, but in that organization. And, for beyond just graduation, I plan to pursue a career in the robotics industry. I know that's very vague, but I know for sure I want to continue to leverage my skill set in mechanical design, CAD design, when it comes to, coding, software development, electrical, just anything with electrical. Really, I'm not the biggest electrician, so hopefully no one binds me on that. But also in leadership, so kind of just leveraging all of those skill sets that I've learned while actively participating in the NSBE professional development initiatives. I know for sure this is the first I've ever kind of seen from the Region 2 professional as far as a podcast. And when we did see it online, we actually have about 3 people running our online networking, social networking, and media platform. So when I had the opportunity to see that, I said, "Oh, we got to jump on this," because I mean, why not? Why not be here? Why not be on that platform? Why not engage in this section? Why not be a part of something that is continuing to grow our region? And my thought process was, who better than for the premier academic organization of the year? And that's kind of our nickname slash motto slash everything else that goes with the organization, because that is what we want to and how to present ourselves, not only on a regional and collegiate level, but a national level as well. So beyond that, I want to continue to, make more connections, right? Networking is always something that people say is one of the best skills, one of the best practices, and one of the best reasons for getting out of your room, getting out of your dorm room, going out into different conferences. NSBE Gold, the March in convention, that is going to be the ultimate networking opportunity. And I'm just excited to learn from more experienced professionals and young professionals within the organization, and being able to collaborate on more ideas on how we can advance the shared goals and mission of NSBE.
Oh, that's facts. That's wonderful, and appreciate you translating all that. I'll just add a few pointers to that. Is first off, you mentioned about mentorship, which is a big deal in today's society. I mean, there's this quote by Isaac Newton said that if I'm where I am today, it's because I stood on the shoulders of giants. And when you start somewhere, you gotta surely need some help to get wherever you wanna. And that help in many cases comes through a mentor because they've done whatever you want to do. And in spaces like ours, where the demographics are kind of unequal, you definitely need somebody who's gonna push you up there. So what's his name again? Devon?
Davion, Tyler.
Davion. Like shout out Davion for being a great mentor to Nick over here. So there's that. And then two is you talked about looking into robotics and something to do with electricity or electrical stuff. Kind of curious to that segment is you thinking of pursuing grad school at some point in the future?
Oh, for sure. And yes, the word I was actually looking for was electrification. It slipped my mind.
Gotcha.
But yes, for sure, grad school has been something that has been on my radar since freshman year. I've definitely looked into it at neighboring, surrounding, and local, also regional options for grad school. I know for sure I want to pursue my PhD in robotics as well, but also having a mastery of some technology and engineering, not only experiences, but in different industries that are rapidly growing. I like to be on the cutting or you could say bleeding edge of technology. That's kind of where I've always envisioned myself being a leader, but also a developer and futurist, and being able to develop these new technologies, the newest solutions, the newest innovations. And I always like that challenge of, hey, if there's something that could be, who's going to be the first person to make it happen? Who's going to be the first person to say, hey, I figured out this XYZ can do that? So I always like having that personal challenge, but also that industrial revolution, and just being able to not only want to learn more, but that innovative and thought process, and being able to develop as you're growing and as you're learning. I mean, it's just something about that bottomless learning and that bottomless education well that just intrigues me. And I just know for me, I always make sure that I'm passionate about everything I do. So hearing just about everything that's happening with new technology, new discoveries every single day is always going to keep me going and keep me motivated and interest in STEM, so I can be one of those people that are really pushing the boundaries of scientific research, education, and discovery.
Scientific research, education, discovery. And something that came to mind is any top or any PhD program that specializes in robotics. I just did a quick Google search while you're talking, and I found out we got some good options in Region 2. So take this if it's gonna help you. Like I'm seeing Carnegie Mellon in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
We
Yes.
have we have UPenn.
Number one, actually.
Number one, there we go. And surprisingly, we also got John Hopkins, just down south in Baltimore, Maryland. So you got options there in case you want to shoot for the stars and see where it goes. And then another point you point out is I'm trying to remember what it says. Something cool. Yes, professional networking. Like you mentioned, NSBE Gold is in 1 month today. And by the way, viewers, if you're watching this, definitely register for the conference. It's in less than 30 days from now. I think regular pricing goes up starting February 18th. So that's in like 2 weeks now.
Yep.
You don't want to wait for that time. So definitely get your registration up and go to Chicago and let's go do great stuff over there. All right, I digress. Networking is a huge component of being a professional in NSBE because it's not just what you know, it's who you know, and who you know is going to help you get to places that you didn't know you could reach per se. And I like your mindset about, okay, talking to this person, learn from that person, etc. Kind of curious if you've ever heard of NSBE PDC.
Yes, NSBE Professional Development Conference.
Gotcha. You ever had a chance to attend it? Just curious.
I had made plans to attend,
Mhm.
but over the summer while I was at Virginia Tech, I was working on my summer internship there. And being as that I was a collaborative intern with about 3 companies, I didn't have all of the time to be able to attend, but I do plan to, and I'm making plans to attend next year's. Well, actually this year's, being as that usually they happen in the summertime. Is that correct? Or like right before September?
Mhm.
So I do plan to attend those because not only one of my collegiate mentors, but my NSBE professional mentor in the research triangle, Rich Gilliam, wanted to shout him out too. Rich has been awesome. I mean, since last year's convention where he brought me into the professionals group workshop, and they were able to talk about what the new SIGs were going to be, and now that the professionals are really sharing what they're doing, platforms like this is really what the professionals wanted to happen, and just to see it come to fruition and to be a part of it in its realized form. Very grateful for that, and just being in that room, it helped me be able to make that connection in a more meaningful way. So, outside of just the engineering and the robotics, I'm very passionate about just each other, right? I'm passionate about the people that's right here, the people, well, I'm in here by myself, so I'm not looking at nobody, but the people that's to the left, to the right, in front, behind, up top, below. I'm very interested in everyone's success, because I understand that success doesn't come from one person. It doesn't come from just what I would like. It comes from within. So if it's from within me, that success is also within other people's. I've always felt that regardless of my titles or the multitude of leadership positions I might hold, I'm just like everyone else. So that just means I'm more responsible for them than I would have selected myself to be before. So I took that position to be responsible for success of people, for the success of the people that are committing to the success of the organization. So that is exactly why I've taken up multiple leadership positions, and why this position as president is not only one of my favorite. Yes, I am biased towards NSBE. It is one of my favorites, but it's also one of my most impactful ventures and leadership escapades and escapades that I've ever took a part of. I definitely learned quite a lot, and I just want to continue to build on that, because my passion for people has taught me the importance of sharing our experiences. Our experiences really make us who we are, and shapes the future for ourselves, whether we know it or not. So I believe that's crucial for the success in engineering as a young professional. And I know those experiences will shape me to become a much stronger leader, a much stronger young professional. And I'm just excited for the future.
I love how you said that you're there for the success of the people you lead, which is why you want to be a leader yourself. It reminds me of this Chinese quote by this philosopher Confucius. He says that if you can't feed them, you can't lead them. And you're doing a great job of leading your chapter, and one day, God willing, your region to success, whether it's engineering, whether it's going to be science, research, you name it. And I can imagine you being at the top of it all, just seeing it all happen. So I really like how you said that, and also looking in your mentor who convinced you of that. Shout out, Mr. Rich. To anybody watching, PDC, NSBE PDC Professional Development Conference is a summertime conference for professionals to connect, meet up, and talk about stuff that will help enrich their career. I would imagine it's strategically in the summer to prep them for the upcoming NSBE year. That's one. Two, the upcoming recruitment season for fall, because I know fall, winter, they're heavy on recruitment season. Or three is if you just want to brush up on some of the skills you've lacked some time back. So I know there are some sessions on leadership, some sessions on team management, salary negotiation, like climbing the ladder, corporate ladder, all that. This past August was my first PDC ever since turning professional. Loved it. And they had some great speakers. I want to shout out, um, I forgot his name, but his something Paul, Incredible Paul on Instagram. You did a great leadership session. So if you ever get to watch this, hats off to you. And they also had lunch with David Banner. I don't know if you know him, Nick, but he's this popular rapper who did some records at the time back and then came here and then just talked about NSBE's proposition to the whole Black community, apart from even just the engineering side of it, which is also impactful in its way. And then we had a soiree in DC in the capital with the NSBE DC professionals, and I could imagine like at least 500 people turned up for that night. It was a great party. We had the, I think, Evening of Excellence Gala, so EOE, whereby we congratulated NSBE's partners who helped make things possible, outstanding professionals, all that. So think of it as the gala at National Convention, but now this is just for professionals. And it's a whole wide dinner where anybody can come, enjoy themselves, all that. And then the Saturday after, which I think is the highlight of the whole conference, they had this boat cruise whereby you pay some cash, which cash, by the way, goes towards the fundraiser of the Edward G. Burnett Scholarship for the next NSBE year cycle. So if it's in August, it starts in September onwards, and whatever you pay for the cycle is gonna be a scholarship for some collegiate student who needs the cash. That was great, and folks got on the cruise ship, had fun, just again celebrating Black engineering excellence like it is. I didn't go personally because I was in downtown just strolling through the streets of DC, but it was a great experience, and I 100% recommend it to anybody thinking of professional development in the summer. I would say, to summarize that part, it's like a chill Afrotech without the craziness and hype of Afrotech itself. So anybody think of an Afrotech alternative, PDC is your option. So take that from me. And yeah, that was a little bit snippet about PDC. So hopefully we can see you guys, including you, Nick, God willing, this year in New Orleans, Louisiana, from August 27th to the 31st. And that's better considering it's going to be Labor Day weekend. So essentially, we're going to have 5 days for the conference, including that holiday. So fun stuff. All right. So next question is, Nick, what's something about yourself that not too many people know that you'd like to share with us?
I would say that I always share this because not only is it a hobby and a passion of mine, but I also have my own startup business. So it's actually called AI Powered Robotics Community Initiatives, or ARCC for short. And the goal for that is to educate different communities in different ways, helping to solve that digital divide. That's actually one of my speaking points for the upcoming panel for the NSBE Legacy of Leaders panel. That's actually going to be happening a little bit later on this week. But yeah, I started that small business not only just out of an entrepreneurial vision and venture, but I always wanted to see communities where, when I was growing up, be able to have that technical, I guess I just say, emphasis, right? So not only where I was growing up, we didn't have as much of that, but we did, once we moved more into the city, some technical centers. So getting into high school, that offered up the opportunity to take part of more technical centers that are literally designed to not only create a pipeline program for those different industries and career pathways, but it introduces those pathways and those different types of careers and industries early. And one thing I've always liked is early education support. So however early you can get to not only kids, but young professionals and young adults when it comes to technology, it'll always be able to, not even just technology, but to STEM, it'll always play a role, because everything and I've always been a firm believer that everything is STEM. Everything that we do is STEM. So down to the lights that's in the room, the person that made the chair, the way that we're on this computer, it all comes down to how things are being done, and everything around us has been done utilizing in interchangeable components the ideas, the innovations, and all of the different techniques in STEM. So emphasizing and introducing that early is a part of ARC's mission. That directly aligns with not only our NSBE Junior initiatives, but with the organization's goal of not only helping to introduce more students into NSBE from different backgrounds, whether it's underserved, MSI or not, just being able to have that platform, to have that ally, and have that extra resource pipeline. Even if it reaches one person, that's one more person that's been touched. That's one more person that now has the inspiration to move into STEM, that now has, an idea of what STEM looks like. And, once you give someone an idea and they can run with it, the sky is quite literally the limit for whatever people want to do. And if they want to go beyond that, they can become an aerospace engineer or astronaut and go beyond that. So it's kind of like, it's all about introducing what people don't know or what they might not know of, and inspiring them to do something that has been done better or that's never been done before.
I like it. I like it. And I got two follow-up questions to that.
Yes.
First is, would you say that the target audience of your startup are NSBE Junior?
I would say the target audience is for young kids, young professional adults, and young professionals, and reaching out to communities that aren't necessarily tech focused or based or have a lot of resources. And the reason for that is, again, we want to reach not only communities early, and what it doesn't mean is that, oh, if I'm not young, does that mean ARC helping me? ARC's vision isn't only just to help age group, right? It isn't about age. It's not an ageist kind of component to it. It's all about introducing it in a way that is new. So introducing STEM fairs, introducing STEAM days to college campuses. One thing that ARC has done, especially on Virginia State campus, is open up our first ever innovation summit. So that summit was actually held on the National STEM Day on November 8th last year. 8th, yes. And with that, we brought in companies like Amazon, Northrop Grumman, IBM. We also had people from the Department of Transportation and the White House there that we participated in hosting, different pitch workshops, learning how to go through the design thinking process, how to pitch. And we even have this scholarship called RAIA, but it's really RAIA, so robotics, automation, artificial intelligence. And that scholarship is for, people that are entering or learning about new concepts through the organization, and that we give out scholarships for just pursuing education and being able to have a proof of, I understand this concept now. I'm able to implement this in new ways. I can do this, because it's about empowering. It's empowering the future and envisioning a future where everyone has access and intelligence to technologies and STEM education. So then it helps all of our communities, and we're introducing it to them early, and we're introducing new ideas to them as well.
Gotcha. I like it. And the second question to that is, assuming a best case scenario, and you're allowed to shoot for the stars because we are the limits,
Yes.
how would you say ARC would fare in 2 and 5 years?
Well, ARC's actually been on a lot. Actually, I will say this, and it's not really dissing anyone because it's my own business. I didn't think I'd be going as long as I am now, but being able to see that we've grown from like 3 original members to now over 50. We're also working alongside of IBM with a campus cohort that we have over 100 members in. We've been collaborating with our NSBE Junior chapter that's also been able to raise well over $5,000 in support of our NSBE chapter. And we've developed our own summer robotics program at our university that's free to students, as well as developing a youth development program. So for us just to be 2 years in, going on 3 in October, I'm very excited about the future. What I always like to do with art is to think in the future, um, and just continue to push the organization forward. That way, just being able to live in the future now and really being able to map that road as we're making new developments, having new partners and collaborations, and of course, making more impacts in the community. So, for what I think how art will fare, I think art will be a very integral part, not only in the NSBE pipeline, but in education systems moving forward, because we've already worked with private schools before. And, I think our next step is working in public schools now. So we're reaching those kids, and not just kids, but on collegiate level. So elementary through high, collegiates, and as well as with companies. So just being able to integrate into that education pipeline is not only our strategic approach towards longevity and sustainability, but on how we want to improve education systems, not only throughout our local areas, but in a more expansive way throughout the nation and, of course, the world, because education doesn't stop in one state, in one city, in one country. It education is never ending, and as long as we don't forget that as leaders, as engineers, as professionals, then that'll never leave us.
I'm not gonna lie, that answer just made my night.
Oh, I
Yeah,
promise I'm not reading off any scripts.
I mean, what script is there when you got a conversation this awesome, I mean, and the fact that you're doing this stuff in 2 years is phenomenal in itself. And personally, I'm optimistic to see how the next 2 to 5 years turn out for ARC. So
Oh,
very
thank
keen is I'll be keeping close eye to see how you guys progress. And just looking at all that and looking at you as Nick, this is my personal opinion. I don't see why you can't apply to CMU for your grad studies in robotics, whatever that time comes, if that's even in the radar. But again, that's just me. Who cares?
I will be. I will be.
Amen to that. And then last question as we start to wrap up the podcast is
Yes.
you got any closing words of wisdom, advice you want to share?
Yes. One piece of advice that really helped me was to embrace challenges as opportunities for growth. I think at the very baseline, understanding that these things that might be a negative experience aren't happening to you, but for you, and I would say reflecting on that mindset has helped me be able to approach them as challenges that are meant for me to overcome in order to make me a stronger leader, a better person, and a more passion, and to instill more passion into my goals. Because if it was easy, it would have been done. If it have been done multiple times, and there would be no need for me to do it. So I definitely would say I encourage everyone to never be afraid to um, live up to what it is you want to do, but also don't be afraid to put in the work to do it, because it's all about getting out of your comfort zone and just pursuing that passion relentlessly, being able to continue on your pathway that you've marked out, that you mapped out for yourself. And expectations go a long way, but expectations won't take you to where you want to go. The only expectations that you'll have is that you'll have expectations. But for anyone that is really looking to really push past that next barrier, that doesn't know what's going to happen next, or that is in self-doubt, all of that is placed in front of you and being placed in your mind in order to help you realize that this is what you need to feel in order to get the feeling you want in the future. That is what you need. Honestly, it's what you need. And even if you tend to not take up that opportunity, or say maybe it's not worth it now, it'll be worth it later when you might not feel as confident or as strong or as motivated as you would have been had you completed that whim or that quip that you had. So that's another motivation. That's a passive motivation for why you should continue to push forward relentlessly and make sure that you are ensuring your future and that you have a future to ensure for the people you care about and yourself.
I'm not gonna lie, Nick, you got a great mind.
Thank you.
Sure, yeah. I like how motivational you are. You're kind of like me in a way, and you also have this optimism, which shows things are possible. Like you mentioned, they're not challenges; they're just opportunities in disguise. Of course, they teach us something. They're gonna hurt in the short term, but so long as we learn something from it, then we can recycle that into greater success moving forward, whether it's in your career, relationships, jobs, enterprises, all that, which, by the way, even classifies you as a great entrepreneur. So, in the scope of entrepreneurship, and I know that you're active in the entrepreneurship sig, that's a fact. And all those qualities that you just mentioned, like you don't just say them, but I'm starting to see that you actually are them. So you are what you say. You're putting your words in practice with ARC, with NSBE VSU, with Gobble in your career coming on. And all I can just say is, hey, sky ain't the limit, you know, for someone like you. I mean, you probably punch a hole through the moon because, again, sky's not the limit. So, I don't know, I'm just totally impressed. Like, take that from me. And on the note for that is maybe a little bit shameless plug, but opportunities are problems which are recycled, or rather, problems being opportunities and recycle, whatever. Words. Sorry. I had this thingy that happened to me back in the day. I'll just summarize it. It's a story for another day, but I had a 1.2 GPA in my math class, and it was one of my most all-time lows ever in recent memory. And long story short, I just took a uphill thingy from there, blasted every class from there, graduated with 3.54 GPA. A year later, from that 1.2 GPA, I got a job in Wall Street, thinking, "Hey, Titus, want to come work for us?" Like, it's a long story towards that, but when you talk about problems being opportunities for learning and growth, that just came to mind. And I'm thankful that I gave a talk about it in NSBE, not Anaheim, but NSBE Kansas City. So I gave a talk at NSBE Talks. It was fantastic. And again, serve for another day. But in case you want to watch it, it's somewhere on LinkedIn. I forget, but I don't know. Nick, there are no words for me to say that I enjoyed this session with you. Like, for real. I mean, we're 38 minutes in. It's a record in terms of time, but still, the value that you're providing here is phenomenal. And I can tell you're a legit leader on VSU, on ARC, to all of Region 2, because I think, and I remember, like, you were on the table with the R2 executive board at FRC at some time, right? Yeah. I think you're a model for what a chapter president should be. And they may not tell you, but you probably inspire them to upper their ante moving forward. So personally, I'm stoked. I know you stoke others, and this is great having you on. You're just an awesome guy. Just keep up a great job. Like, really, I can't find a way to say thanks for even inspiring me right now with your words of wisdom, even though I'm a professional, but still, you got a great mind to that. Any last thoughts, closing comments, plug your stuff, go on.
I would say thank you so much for that. Before I advertise for myself, I always want to give thanks first because we listen twice as better than we can speaking. So thank you for hosting me. Thank you everyone that will be watching. Thank you to our entire organization, the premier academic organization of the year, Virginia State University and the National Society of Black Engineers. We are going to NSBE Gold. We are going to show out. We are going to make some new connections. We're going to get some opportunities. Thank you to everyone that has ever supported ARC. That is like literally my baby before I intend to have any baby. So it's kind of like I'm very much caressing and making sure things are going well in the early stages, so it can grow up to be as enthusiastic and confident as the people that help this organization run on a regional and national level. I'm very excited for that. I am also on LinkedIn, so I do like to connect. I don't do too much of entertainment social media, but I do have a professional social media because I really want to continue to build up my professional portfolio and being able to just bring in new opportunities, not just for myself but for the communities at large, and using those pipelines that we've curated and created to amass more opportunities. So thank you for this opportunity. I'm excited to connect with everyone, and I'm ready to take the gold at NSBE Gold. Thank you.
You heard the man, connect with them, and like me, you're probably gonna get the impression that you're not gonna regret interacting with him. So Nick, shoot for the moon and go for it. With that said, we're out of time. We just had a great session. Personally, even from how I'm looking, like you can tell, I'm just, I don't know, inspired by this. Like legit, like this is the reason we started this podcast, to hear great stories from original members. So I don't know, Nick, you just set the bar upper high. I can say that, but yeah. So you see our social media handles down there: NSBE Region 2 Pros, Facebook, R2 NSBE Pros, Instagram, Threads, LinkedIn, NSBE Region 2 Professionals. This episode should be up within a week from right now. It's been recorded. Should be shared on social media and on YouTube as well. I might probably have to add YouTube here, but I don't know. We'll see. And with that said, thanks for tuning in, folks. Stay safe. Remember, register for NSBE Gold and Chicago next month. Yes, get your payments in, get your rooms in, all that. We don't want to see last minute stuff. And see you in Chicago. Let's get the gold and NSBE Gold. And until then, you know how it is. Keep it too hype. All right. There we go.